Welcome back to Affirmations. I want to thank my subscribers and anyone that's swinging through. Please like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post. Let's see, for those of you that are new, I always will light Palo Santo. Ooh, got me a torch today. Let's see how this is going to do. Ooh, kind of scary. Wishing everyone mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health. Okay. And again, for those of you that are new, we always will normally light incense or a candle. Um, again, I always talk about how it's my belief that when you are healing from counseling, it is spiritual in nature. And so, just like churches and temples will light candles, we also can do that as well. Okay. Let's see. So, happy Black History Month. Okay. I've had this shirt forever and I was like, I need to wear my shirt, right? So I said, okay, Black History Month, we got to do it. So I don't know if y'all remember, there was a series that came on Netflix of Harriet Tubman. I didn't even see it. I'm, believe it or not, I'm a person that never really has cable or really has subscriptions. But anyway, this lady, she who played Harriet Tubman, she was in an interview and she had this cool shirt on. I immediately Googled, where did she get this shirt? Right? We out. Harriet Tubman, 1849, right? So I had to get that. She had this cool hat on too, a black hat, and I meant to do that, but I'm like, we're gonna rock the fro. Come on, Black History Month. So we're gonna do something a little different. Um, but anyway, I'm hoping you all are well. I'm hoping you all are remembering your ancestors and our people this Black History Month, okay? And one of the things we're gonna let's see. We always start off for those of you that are new. We always start off with our saying, "Death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." Have you been feeding yourself fresh or rotten fruit? I always want to mind the self-talk that you're doing with yourself, what you speak out loud, as well as what you're speaking about others. Sometimes it can activate reap what you sow if you're being malicious or lying on others. Okay, so we want to watch that. Um, Also, too, information in the description box regarding information on how to contact me for a session or for your yearly mental health checkup, or information about how to find a therapist, as well as information about self harm. Okay, so do pass that along if you know anyone in need. Let's see. So one of the things I was trying to figure out, what are we gonna do for Black History Month? I hadn't done story time for the children of the slaves, so I've been looking for like a children's book to read. Couldn't find anything, but then I thought about it. I said, okay, well, today we've done this one before as an affirmation, but I'm gonna look at this. This is something called the Woodland Wardens. I will put it in the description box. And again, these are little oracle deck cards with the animals. And one of the things we talk about a lot is how, and that's another segment that I do where I talk about us learning about our spiritual rights outside of what they told us and taught us in slavery. Because again, our churches and religion was supervised as well. So we're starting to learn there are other missing books, there's other information out there. But another thing that I'm starting to talk about too is that, our people were people we could not read. So we wasn't reading a Bible, right? But yet we were very spiritual. We had a knowing, right? So we're going to start looking into that piece because that's one of the things that also too was taken kind of out of the Bible and manipulated as well. Not only do you have scripture, but there's also the spirituality aspect of things, okay? And so because we couldn't read, what we had to depend on is intuition. We had to depend on nature, right? Sights and symbols. I think I've shared this before. We talked about Harriet Tubman, where she talked about how I think she had gotten hit in the head or something like that, and she would go into these kind of like spells where she would fall asleep. Sometimes she said she would have visions and dreams, these types of things, right? And the North Star, right? So we always depended on nature, right? The stars, the signs around us, nature, right? So we're always a people of communication with intuition because we didn't know what to do. We'd be like, okay, give me a sign, right? The random. Okay, so that's also part of us, and that's also part of the spirituality that they removed. Okay, but yet we depended on that, and that's how we survived slavery. So we're going to use these cards, right? I like the design on these. I don't know if y'all can see it, but anyway, just to kind of They kind of feature animals and plants and things of this nature. So we're gonna look at that. But yeah, so we always are looking at that. That there's a lot of, and then also too when you start talking about, the perfect time to talk about this during Black History Month. All everyone's pretty much understanding now that all nations around the world, no matter the country, the original people in the land were always a melanated people, right? And eventually, through wars and conquering, got mixed out. If you go to any country, there's an original melanated group there, right? So that's one of the things we're also learning. So yeah, and then with that also too, we start talking about biblically because we always talk a little bit about that as well. We talk about how you know, the oldest Bible was found in Ethiopia. So a lot of times in slavery, what happens when they conquer a people, they're going to erase you from history, right? Reprogram you, tell you that, oh, you didn't know anything. We had to kind of introduce this to you. But basically, they're reintroducing you to what was yours, right? Because when you conquer a people, you have to erase them from the history, rewrite it, put yourself in the place, right? So again, there's a lot more to it, right? So just understand that spirituality was also part of ours as well, along with biblical writings. And, even in the Bible, it kind of shows signs and symbols as well that they would have to look for, in order to kind of give them messages. And so that is also part of it, okay? All right. Okay, so that flipped. Oh, I like this. We got a nice card. Okay. We got happiness. This is such a cute card. Can y'all see that happiness? I know it's showing an odd color, but it is. It's the ladybug and the sweet pea. Let's see what this is saying. They have Roman numerals, so this is going to be a little tricky. 3 X's and a V. Let's see what we got. Look like I might go to it. There you go. Turn right to it. Happiness. It reads, symbols of good luck and fortune. Ladybugs are wonderful insects known to keep garden pests like aphids at bay. The sweet pea is a beautiful scented climber. In the Victoria area, sweet peas were given to thank hosts for a lovely time. Combined with ladybug and sweet pea represent ease and happiness. It says, you are entering a period of happiness, positivity, and good luck. Celebrate your joy by sharing it with others, right? So this is interesting. And one of the things we know, and again, we talk about, sometimes we are introducing other things than what we have been taught and told, what we in the religion that we've been taught in slavery. And so again, when you hear these types of things, some people feel like this is a type of fortune cooking, it's a fortune telling, which is kind of spooky or scary to them. But again, there's more to our history, where it's a combination of not only biblical text, but as well as spirituality. So if you look in the Old Testaments, you'll see the priests, there's a lot of rituals they would do. They also had something called the pulling of lots, right? Where they were randomly pull and say whoever got the shortest stick, right? So it's that random thing, right? That's kind of part of our way as well. But again, I always talk about if it's something that you're uncomfortable with, then of course that's something that you don't engage in because it can cause you mental harm, okay? But again, when I look at this, again, I apply everything to slavery, right? You're entering a period of happiness and positivity. What I love about this is just like when you eat you go to the Chinese restaurants and you get the fortune cookie, right? And it has a little cute saying. Pretty much, and I love it, death and life is in the power of the tongue, right? So whatever you hear, if you sign on to it, then it's for you. If you say, oh, that's not for me, then it's not for you. So if we get this saying that you're entering a period of happiness and positivity, and you say, oh no, that's not that, is it? You have the death and life and power of tongue, right? So not only is this the Most High, He's created things, but He's given us the power to speak a thing to life or speak a thing to death. So no matter what you're hearing, you get to say, yes, that's for me. I agree, right? So are you a person that's speaking happiness, positivity, good luck, as you would say, right? Celebrating joy. Again, one of the things they talk about when you're manifesting or praying for a thing or faith, right? You live as if it's already happened, right? So are you doing that, celebrating the joy with yourself and others and not sitting, waiting, being nervous? And that's a tricky thing to do. But again, one of the things that I would say our people did very well is we lived under constant terror and stress, but we had a way of we didn't have the luxury to sit around and speak negativity, right? We tried to be positive. We had to encourage each other, nurture each other, stay positive. Because could you imagine, um, we just would not have survived. People would have chosen to really give up and not thrive, but we did, right? Because we would claim these things, okay? So that's something. And the question is, what brings me happiness? What brings you happiness? Do you even know? Because we also talk about that, is that we also have been so programmed to the point to where we've even been told what's supposed to make us happy, what is good, what is bad, right? And a lot of times, sometimes we invest in these things and we come up feeling empty, say, well, I accomplished that, I got that, but yet I feel empty, right? So sometimes we've signed on to what we've been programmed and told that this is what you're supposed to have, right? But we literally have the chance where we have to rethink everything. Okay, because if you're coming up feeling empty, then that's not it, right? So just because we've been told a thing doesn't mean that that is true or this thing is going to bring the happiness or contentment. It says, how do I invite more joy into my life? So you have a challenge of that. How do you invite more joy? Interesting. We need to look up the word joy. Hmm. Yeah, and if it's joy, understand you're gonna know if it's true joy because afterwards, if afterwards you're doing it and there's guilt, shame, and there's some consequences or negativity connected to it, then it's not real joy, right? So joy is gonna be something where it's gonna leave you feeling fulfilled. Okay, all right. So that's a good one. Let's see if we'll do another one. We'll see what we're gonna get. Okay. Yeah, I got this lighting, so I don't know, it's a little interesting, but we're making it work. Yeah, I use a USB light, so sometimes I put it in different locations and it'll do an interesting glare. But I can see, and I think you all can see me okay, even though it's an odd shadow. Let's see what we're going to get. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to look if it comes out. Look, that one to pop. Interesting. We got intelligence. The crow and dogwood. Intelligence. The crow and dogwood. That's a glare. Yeah. Yeah, the crow. They talk about crows. They're very intelligent animals. Birds. Let's see. XV1. Let's see what they're talking about. XV1. Intelligence. There we go. Intelligence. It says the crow is an incredibly intelligent bird associated with the power of foresight. Forgive me. You're going to start giving me a hard time. I'm actually going to get some water. Sometimes when I do the incense, it makes me cough. Now, this is a first. All right, come on. Yeah, see, the crow is an incredibly intelligent bird associated with the power of foresight and the ability to use tools. Today, it's often used to signify darkness or foreboding. So, again, here we go with the symbols, right? In different cultures, different things mean different things or represent things. But it's how you interpret it. And some people automatically have a negative proclivity, right? They'll see something and assume it's going to be bad, or you're a person that's more positive and you don't assume the negative. It says, but modern depictions rarely do the crow justice. According to Norse folklore, the crow is a powerfully positive symbol meant to remind us of our skills and resources. It says you are capable of solving any problem. Isn't that our people? Hmm? We had to solve all problems. Very intelligent, right? And so one of the things we're learning, they try to make us think that they had to come here and teach us things. We came with skills. That's why they got us, right? So we were automatically intelligent, and so intelligent that even though they denied us reading and writing, we were still able to interpret, figure things out. Plus, we also already had skills. Okay. So it says you're capable of solving any problem. Like the crow, the dogwood has a somewhat confused public image as well. Its beautiful, light colored petals convey gentleness and whimsy. Few know that its hard bark and strong frame makes it an uncommonly durable tree, able to withstand even the harshest weather. It says you have the tools to fulfill your goals and solve any problem that stands in your way. You need only look inward to find wisdom and strength. Yeah. I know sometimes trying to reach goals can be very intimidating, right? But you have the tools to be able to, because you have to look inward to find your wisdom and strength. And a lot of times, a lot of times when we feel nervous, we'll go to other people and say, well, what do you think? What do you think? But we already know. And so that's one thing we talked about too, is because there was so much damage done among our people. Sometimes when you're sharing your hopes and dreams, other people may have another opinion and talk you out of a thing. So sometimes you have to trust your gut, quietly work on your goals, right? Because sometimes, not meaning to, but sometimes our people can be stuck in negativity, and so they don't see the insight. Maybe that's a gift that you have, right? So sometimes it's kind of tricky to be self motivated, right? You have to find your own strength and wisdom. Yeah, okay. So we got those two today. Again, happy Black History Month. Um, Wanting you all to, again, look in the description box for information. I'm going to end with my saying everyone has a right to heal from trauma um, in privacy without the interference or the opinion of others, even a race, nation. And until next time.